Hey there, Benjamin from Lovestarter here, welcome back. Today we're talking all about conversions in Google Analytics 4, GA4. I have covered conversions before, but since then Google has updated the interface, and I also wanted to go into more detail about how you can track and report on your conversions in GA4. I'm going to show you how to configure conversions inside Google Analytics, and when you might want to use Google Tag Manager. You can use conversions to report on important actions taking place on your website or in your app. For example, you might want to report on the number of people completing a form on your website, making a purchase, or another important action. And once you've configured conversions in GA4, you'll then be able to understand the performance of your marketing channels, make use of the attribution reports, and more. Okay, let's head to Google Analytics. I'm in my GA4 demo property, so let's select Configure. We're now looking at all of the events that have been collected, and we can see a number of different events. These include page view, purchase, scroll, video events, and more. Most of these, like page views and scrolls, are automatically tracked by Google Analytics using the GA4 Enhanced Measurement feature. I have edit level permission for the property, so you'll notice there is a column on the right that lets us mark any event as a conversion in Google Analytics. If you don't have the option to mark events as a conversion, then you'll need to have your permission increased or get someone who does have edit level permission to configure conversions for you. And if you're sending purchase events to GA4, these are automatically marked as conversions, so you'll notice the option is grayed out because you can't disable this. Okay, so if you see the event you'd like to report as a conversion and you have edit level permission, you can simply click the button to enable the event as a conversion. Once enabled, every time the event is collected into GA4, a conversion will also be counted in your reports. This is perfect if you wanted to track people watching videos or scrolling, but if we were to enable the page view event as a conversion, then every time someone views a page on our website, a conversion would be counted. However, this doesn't work if you only want to track a thank you page or confirmation page as a conversion in Google Analytics. If you want to track a specific page as a conversion, like your thank you page, then you will need to track that individual page as a unique event first. There are two ways to do this. The first option is to create a new event inside Google Analytics based on an existing event. For example, we can trigger a new event when a page view is reported for our thank you page. This is the easiest option since everything can be set up inside Google Analytics. The second option is to configure a new tag in Google Tag Manager that will send an event every time someone views the thank you page. For example, we could send an event called Generate Lead when someone completes the form on our website. We're going to start by looking at the first option where we trigger a new event inside Google Analytics. Let's head back to Google Analytics. Let's select Create Event. And now let's click Create. I want to track people viewing my thank you page as a separate event, so I'm going to name my event Generate_Lead. And now we need to configure the conditions for when we want this event to be triggered. Let's enter event_name, then equals, and enter page_view. This ensures that we're only matching page view events. Now let's click Add Condition. And we're going to enter page_location, then contains, and let's enter thank-u. This will mean our new event will trigger every time someone views a page on our website that has a URL containing thank you. Let's leave copy parameters from the source event selected. This will mean all of the parameters from the original page view event are also available in the new event when it's triggered. And here's an optional step. Let's click Add Modification. And let's enter value as the parameter name. And 50 as the value. Now let's click Add Modification again. And let's name the parameter currency. And enter USD as the value. Adding these two parameters to our new event means we're assigning a value of $50 every time someone converts. You can adjust this to the value of your particular conversion and your preferred currency. Now let's click Create. We've now created a new event that will be triggered when someone views a page with a URL containing "Thank you" on our website. I've had people ask, how long does it take for the conversion event to show up in Google Analytics? It's a great question. Once someone views a page that matches our condition, you'll be able to see the event in the real-time reports straight away. However, the standard reports, including the events report we were looking at previously, typically takes 12 to 24 hours for data to show up. So if someone visits the thank you page now, I recommend checking back tomorrow to see it in your reports. Okay, let's close this. Since you won't see your new event in this report straight away, you can wait until it shows up to enable it as a conversion, or you can pre-configure your event as a conversion in advance. This means that once the event is triggered, it will also be marked as a conversion. To do this, let's navigate to Conversions. And let's click New Conversion Event. Now we need to enter the name of our conversion event exactly as we named it when it was created. Continuing our example, this would be generate_lead, all in lowercase. Now we can click Save. Once our event is triggered, it will also be counted as a conversion. And if you're wondering, you can enable up to 30 unique events as conversions in GA4, so you should have plenty of scope to track all of those important actions as conversions. And if you start to get close to this limit, then you can consider reducing the number of uniquely named events you're using and make use of a custom parameter to view more granular details, but that's a topic for another day. Now you'll see conversions in this report, but I also want to show you where you can see them in the standard reports. Let's select Reports. Then Engagement. And then Conversions. I previously configured the conversion we've been looking at today, so this means I already have data in my demo property. If you've only just configured your conversion, then you'll need to wait until it's been triggered before you begin to see conversions in this report. We can see all of our conversion events, and we can select an individual event to see more details. We can now see the source, or how people are finding our website before they convert. And we can see the total number of conversions and any conversion value we've defined for the action. You can change the dimension used for the report. So you might want to change this to medium, campaign, or one of the other options. And you can also find your conversions in the other reports. For example, let's select Acquisition, and then User Acquisition. If we scroll to the right, we can also see conversions in this report. And selecting the drop-down lets you choose an individual conversion event. Okay, but what if you want to trigger an event based on a custom action and use that as a conversion in Google Analytics? Well, in that case, you're probably going to want to use Google Tag Manager. Let's head to my demo site to take a look at how we can track a pop-up form. We're going to look at how to track people completing an Ajax pop-up form on Squarespace, and I'm going to show you how to do this using an element visibility trigger in Google Tag Manager. There are different ways to achieve this, so if you're interested in exploring other options, then I recommend watching my video covering button tracking too. I've included a link in the extra resources below this video. To start, I'm going to open the form. Fill in some details, and click Submit. We can see that there is a thank you message. So let's right-click and select Inspect Element. This shows us that the thank you message is contained in a div, and the div has a class of form-submission-text. Let's copy this because we'll use this to configure our trigger in a moment. Now let's head to Google Tag Manager. We can see we have an existing GA4 configuration tag. This tag automatically sends events including page views to Google Analytics. Take a moment to ensure you also have a GA4 configuration tag in Google Tag Manager. Now let's create a new tag. Let's name the tag Form Submission GA4. Select Tag Configuration, and let's choose GA4 Event as the tag type. we need to select our existing GA4 configuration tag. And let's name the event generate_lead. Now let's select event parameters. And let's click Add Row. We're going to assign a value for each conversion like we did for the conversion we configured inside Google Analytics. So let's enter value as the parameter name. And let's enter 50 as the value. This means we'll be reporting $50 as the average conversion value. Again, this is optional. Now let's add another row. And let's enter currency as the parameter name. And USD as the value. And let's add one more row. Let's enter page_location as the parameter name. And let's click the variable icon and choose page URL. Now let's select triggering. And we need to create a new trigger that will only fire our GA4 event tag when someone views the thank you message on our website. Let's click the blue plus sign. Let's name the trigger Form Submission and select Trigger Configuration. Let's choose Element Visibility as the trigger type. And let's change the selection method to CSS Selector. Now we need to enter the class we found for the thank you message. So let's enter dot, then form-submission-text. This will mean that when the thank you message is visible in someone's browser, we can trigger our GA4 event tag. Let's click Save. And let's save the tag. Now let's click Preview to see if our new tag fires when the form is completed. We enter the URL for our website and click Connect. Now let's open the form, enter some details, and click Submit. Now we can open the Tag Assistant tab. Let's select Element Visibility on the left. We can see the tag is fired. This means our event has been sent to Google Analytics. We can now head back to Google Tag Manager and publish our container to the website. You can apply the same technique to any other actions you want to track as conversions into Google Analytics. The main thing is that you need to create a trigger that will fire the GA4 event tag once someone has completed your desired action. So this could be for a form like we've covered, it could be clicking a button, viewing a page, or any other action you choose. Now I want to show you how to create a funnel visualization for the steps leading to your conversion. Let's head back to Google Analytics. And let's select Explore. You can start with a template to create a funnel visualization, but let's click blank to start from scratch. Let's name our report Conversion Funnel. And let's select Freeform and change this to Funnel Exploration. Now let's click the pencil icon next to Steps. Let's name the first step Register. And let's add a condition. Let's search for and select Page Location. Now let's click Add Filter and enter register.html and click Apply. Let's add a step and let's name the step Registration Complete. Let's add a condition. Let's search for and select Page Location again. And let's click Add Filter and enter registersuccess.html and click Apply. And click Apply again. We've now created a simple two-step funnel visualization in Google Analytics. To learn even more about the options available in this report, I've included a link to my dedicated funnel visualization video in the description below this video. I encourage you to check it out. So that's how you can configure conversions and report on them in GA4. Remember that you will need to start by ensuring you have the action tracked as an event into Google Analytics. You can do this inside Google Analytics by creating a new event based on an existing event, or you can use Google Tag Manager to send an event to Google Analytics for the particular action you want to track. Then once you've enabled the event as a conversion, you'll see it in your reports. What events are you going to track as conversions? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please like it so I know to make more videos like this one. See you in the next video.